Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us. My name is Matt Lubers. I'm the Senior Sales Specialist with Samsung Mobile here at D&H. Again, thanks so much for taking time to join us today for this webinar. We have a handful of experts to go over our new Galaxy books and the features they have, and we want to make sure that this is interactive as well. So if you have any questions along the way as slides come up, please put them in the Q&A section, and we'll make sure to cover those as we go. So from here, I'll give it to Thomas, if you want to take it from here.
Thank you. And thank you for having us, everyone. We are excited to introduce you to the brand new Galaxy Book5, a Galaxy PC for all. As part of today's agenda, we're going to be taking a look into the market and see some of the insights that we have found to describe how the Galaxy Book5 is an answer to the needs of the PC marketplace. Additionally, we'll spend some time with Rod to review our PC portfolio. We'll talk about how this book is enterprise ready and explain why. And then also we'll be taking a deep dive into the Galaxy Book5 itself. And so if you guys have any questions, please put it in the Q&A chat. We'll be taking a look. And as we go through this presentation, we invite you to ask those questions along the way, and we'll engage with you as we go along. Today, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Thomas Ennis. I am part of the Samsung B2B training team, and I'm joined by Rod and Gerard. Respectively, they're from the product managing team and also the sales engineers team. Gerard's in the chat to help answer any of those technical questions that you all might have, and Rod will be co-presenting with me today. So let's jump in and learn a little bit more about these market insights I had mentioned before. And as you see on screen, as we look on the left side, this is broken out by units by segment in the different type of industry. So small business, large enterprise, government, education. And at a quick glance, you can easily see that small business is our largest segment, but we're also starting to see growth of commercial laptop PC sales within large enterprises. And so as we're seeing that growth, we're starting to align our PC portfolio to address those needs of large enterprises while also continuing to support SMB, government, and education. But I would say that SMB and large enterprise, these laptops are primarily geared for these types of customers. Additionally, we also are going to be looking at the AI trend, the forecast. AI has been one of those buzzwords that we're used to hearing, and we definitely want to see how it's being used, how we can utilize AI within our PC handset, because if you look at the middle graph, 60% of PCs are going to be accounted to be AI capable by 2027. So we're seeing that trend of adoption continuing to rise year over year, and the need for AI capabilities is just growing. And then our last chart, we want to look at the right. We're starting to see this is going to break down the market. What are the types of laptops by price category that customers are needing? So as you see, mostly the green, the purple, and the blue portions of this bar graph represents the majority of the laptops, and these are going to be laptops ranged 1,000 and above. And so typically you're going to see a lot of these AI capable PCs ranged in there, and then there are some that are under 1,000 that are there as well. So we definitely want to make sure we kind of address all portions of this. But the big key takeaway is that the $1,000 premium laptop PC sales are leading the market. So customers are demanding more from their PCs. And as you can see, kind of summarizing all of this, some questions that you might want to start asking our customers is how does when you're engaging with those sales calls, how does your organization plan to migrate to Windows 11 as Windows 10 is sunsetting? Are you currently utilizing AI in your current workflows, or are you planning to do so in the future? And how does your team utilize your current Windows devices Are you looking to be more productive? And so these are just kind of those great scoping questions that you can start including as we're seeing that this is how the market is trending. As we go to the next slide, I'm going to pass it off to Rod, who's going to take a deep dive and show us a little bit more about our PC portfolio.
Yeah, thanks, Thomas. It's great to be here, guys. I just want to give you a quick overview of our lineup. We are going to be focusing a little bit on the newer model, which is going to be the very bottom left, the Galaxy Book5. We're currently selling. We'll sell the Galaxy Book4 as an overlap with the 5 as we launch it in July. Again, that'll complete our series launch, our Galaxy Book5 series launch for this year. Typically, when you think about our naming convention, we use Galaxy Book5 series, or the 5 itself represents the year it launches. So again, when we go into next year, you'll start to see the Galaxy Book5 series start to roll out. We don't always launch every single model at the same time. There can be some lag and differences, especially with that base model. Base model is a little bit later in the year, is typically how we've been rolling with it. And also, I want to make a call out that when you think about the Ultra Premium, you're going to see, especially if you look on the Intel Power, you'll see the word Ultra, Pro. If you see Pro or Ultra, that means it's going to be our most premium offerings. Typically, those are coming with the touches included, 3K AMOLED screen. So we do, and for the most part, well, all of them are Lunar Lake. Now, I'll talk about Galaxy Book 4 Ultra. You may be asking why we don't have a Galaxy Book 5 Ultra. There was a delay in the NVIDIA discrete graphics cards. That's the only model we carry discrete graphics cards. We do think that the Lunar Lake and even the Arrow Lake, which we're moving to in Galaxy Book 5 series, have excellent integrated graphics. But if you're really into developers, creators, designers, that type of use case, then the Galaxy Book 4 Ultra is going to be your main focus. There was a decision because of a later NVIDIA card rollout that we were wanting to launch Galaxy Book 6 Ultra early next year. So we just decided that, the 6-month life, it didn't make much sense to go with the Galaxy Book 5. So we've skipped that and are going to move right into the Galaxy Book 6 Ultra for next year. So just stay tuned for that. I'll just briefly mention we have some Qualcomm-powered devices as well. We launched that last fall. That has a different naming. If you see the word Edge, then you'll know that's Qualcomm. Everything else is Intel, including the Chromebook Plus to the far right, which is an excellent Chromebook. I want to just give a quick plug on that one. The Chromebook Plus is a if you think about it, it's thinner and lighter than the MacBook Air 15. It is a 15.6. You have to pick it up to believe it. Very nice FHD AMOLED screen. It's a very excellent value Chromebook. We offer both an i3 and a Core 5. This is not Arrow Lake. This is the Raptor Lake refresh, and you've got Intel Galaxy Book 4 Ultra is Meteor Lake, and then Lunar Lake for the Galaxy Book 5 Pro and Pro 360s, and even the Book 5 360 is also Lunar Lake. So we stepped up that particular device over the Galaxy Book 4 360 to really match the full CoPilot plus AI PC capabilities that we do with our Pro lineup. So that's kind of a step up. And then our Galaxy Book 4 or 5 still a very premium. We're going to get into that. You'll see based on its feature set and its size and weight, and the fact that it's aluminum. It's not a polycarbonate box. So when you pick it up, you're going, oh wow, this is a solid machine, and it's thinner and lighter than you think for what we might refer to as an entry PC. I wouldn't refer to it as an entry. It's more of a lower premium PC, you might want to call it. But for us, we've been focusing on the more ultra premium market. So for us, the Galaxy Book 5 launch or the 4 base model is more of your entry PC, your laptop for us. Just one quick thought: we don't do thin client laptops. We don't do like rugged laptops. We're not into desktops, all-in-ones. We've done some of that in the past. We haven't decided not to get back into that at this point. So our focus is, again, to expand our mobile portfolio, which is the phones, tablets, watches. Totally makes sense that to bring in laptops as our next big step into the portfolio expansion. So I don't expect desktops to be here for a year or two if we ever get back into it. I just wanted to call that out. All right, so let's move on, and let me talk a little bit about the enterprise readiness, because it's easy, and I get it. I came from this industry I've been in other OEMs that focus on commercial laptops. I understand we're a small player in the U.S. market when you think about commercial or enterprise. But in 2021, there was a concerted effort to really invest and expand and grow, and we know we have to catch up. But I just wanted to talk about all the things we've done since when I got here in 2021, late 21, to really improve our what I'll call around-the-box services, things that features sets that are expected from an enterprise that you guys probably know well as D&H customers. Or your customers coming to you for some of these services that I'm showing here. But just wanted to talk briefly and just showcase it. I'm not going to. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't mean to interrupt, but we have a question in the chat. So
oh yeah, go ahead.
Asking, and I think this is a perfect time to answer this question. He's asking, do you offer on-site warranty, accidental damage protection, up to 5 years or less?
We absolutely offer accidental damage and care extended warranty. We even have advanced next business day advanced exchange. We do not yet have on-site repair. So when you're talking about wanting to do self-repair or on-site repair, we still are gapped out in that. We are looking for feedback, though. We think the best approach to the next step would be to enable self-repair, and then the step after that would be an on-site repair. So again, we don't have that today, but that was a good question. Everything else we do.
Awesome. And Rodney, we see your questions. We're going to get right to that. We're going to talk about the hinges. We're going to talk about the battery life very shortly here. Make sure to get all those questions.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get into that, and we'll definitely take your questions. We'll get into that. Just so you know that in the background, sometimes you'll see on our websites, we don't necessarily legally advertise mobile mark battery testing, but we do test it. We do have that information, so you can grab it for us. Discrete TPM, if we look to the right, obviously Windows 11 Pro, Knox security, a lot of these things are things that we've added onto these devices. So again, I just want to make sure you understand as you look through this that we're not just putting a Windows 11 Pro on a consumer device and throwing it over the fence. We do have a really good support team that's building this out. I'll be the first one to raise my hand and say, yeah, we still have a long ways to go. When you think about the big players who've been around for 20, 25 years, they've built out an incredible, enterprise capabilities. But we continue to catch up and add more and more each year. And that's our plan, is to grow this and make sure that for those users out there who want the best experience with their Samsung phones and tablets, that they have a good Windows PC choice, not only for their home use, but for certainly inside the enterprise. Just briefly, this is just another slide. I won't go into this, but just focus on the configuration services. I think this is something that some of these things that you guys offer, maybe some of the tier 2 VARs offer as well. But just from a factory perspective, knowing that this is there. So if your customers, want this type of experience, I do want to spend just a few minutes on this CleanOS imaging service. And this is something that we're going to expand into Galaxy Book5 and come up with a more standard commercial image on our devices that is a little bit cleaner. Stay tuned on that one. But for now, we typically have what I'll call a consumer SMB image on the device. For those enterprise customers that want a completely clean, wiped, Windows 11 Pro image with only just the bare necessities on it, we do offer that service. So if they're wanting to order, usually it's going to take about 300 to 400 units of commitment over a year time frame. But if they're willing to do that, we absolutely can supply that and offer that service. I'll pause there. Any other questions on that before I move on? Anything coming to the chat that we want to cover now? Okay. Yeah. You all have been probably hounded on this one. This is coming. Just wanted to flash it up again. We obviously are doing things and wanting to offer. And stay tuned. We're gonna look at offering us some interesting, what I'll call promotions for you guys in the IT channel for Q3, because we know we'd like to have some inventory and promotions that are really take advantage of those last minute needs for Windows 11 migration. So again, that's something that we keep an eye on. I'll just briefly go through this. These are things you might have heard from Microsoft, but it's very important, obviously, Windows 11 to really drive faster workflows, and to improve your security and all that. Those are all things that you guys know about, so I won't go into it much in this particular session. I think the AI wave, if you look at this slide, and you mentioned it too, Thomas, I mean, that's going to be an important one. I've just heard from colleagues in the industry, there seems to be a wave where they're cutting, I'll call it executive layer or mid-layer personnel, thinking that AI can replace it. Now, I'm not sure that can work, but just it's interesting to see that some companies are taking advantage of this early and trying to do cost savings benefits. So just keep that in mind. And of course, for all of us, we need to continue to ramp up on AI and make sure we can use it appropriately. So now I want to get specifically into this Galaxy Book5. Again, I just want to call out, it's confidential. It's going to be launching on July 9th. It's not that it's a hidden secret that we're launching Galaxy Book5, but just keep this just a little more sensitive for a few more days. But I just want to go through the Galaxy Book5 and talk about this particular product. And we'll talk about it in relation to our Galaxy Book4, maybe what things have changed and what things are different. So that'll be our focus. Just to start off, just to look at the device itself, if you look over to the left, we actually did lower the, call it the Z height to the thinness down to, it's not much, 5.4 millimeters to 5.1, or 15.1, sorry, 5.1 would be insane, but 15.1 millimeters is still very thin. If you look at the comparative, we looked at some competitive compares, and we still tend to lead in the thickness and weight if it's the same size laptop. We tend to want to do to drive that mobility story, thin and light story, along with our tablets and phones. So that's still something that's part of our DNA. And I'll talk about that a little bit. Well, but we'll talk about it now. I just want to say that because we have that, our engineering teams do a really, really good job of heat dissipation, and some of the concerns in past life about getting too thin and light, maybe throttling back or having to throttle back the power because it overheats. We have a really good engineering DNA that drives that performance of these devices, and we've done a really good job in trying to mitigate any concerns on throttling or overheating. Again, we say full metal, it's actually aluminum. And then over to the right, what we've done is we've increased the screen to be a little brighter from 300 to 330 nits. And we've got that anti-glare screen as well, which helps in bright light. So again, that's just to give you a quick overview on the device. I'll go to the next slide. We've done an increase in the battery to about 7 watts, and so the weight didn't change, and the battery goes up, which is fantastic. That again improves the battery life. We also have a very thin and light charger, so when you take about the total weight in your backpack, oftentimes you'll get maybe a laptop and you'll have a bulky charger. I like these chargers because I can use them on my tablet, on my phone. It's Type-C. I can take that cord out and put it in my car if I'm traveling. So it's nice to have that capability.
And when we're talking about mobility workers too, people are going in and out of the office. They're trying to keep things light. They're traveling a lot. Obviously, this is something that's a huge selling point for those types of customers who are in and out of the office, traveling, working, meeting with clients. You want to keep a slim profile and still be able to stay productive, right? So you're not sacrificing battery life to stay light. You're going to be able to take advantage of both of these great 2 points.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Thomas. Thank you. Just before I go to the next slide, I just want to introduce David from Intel. He's going to help us talk a little bit about Arrow Lake, and this device is on Arrow Lake, and I'll let turn it over to David.
Hey, thanks, Rod. So good afternoon, folks. So David Bartley, account manager here at Intel. It's great to be with you. So before I just jump right into Arrow Lake, I want to take just a quick second to make sure we're all up to speed on exactly what Core Ultra is, right? So as you're probably seeing in the market, you're seeing that Intel now has differentiated products of Intel Core and Core Ultra. And the way that these are different is that when we talk to our customers, they're asking us to create more differentiated silicon and more optimized silicon for different workloads. Because as we know today, right, some workloads work really great on a single-threaded process. That'd be good for a CPU. And some workloads would be much more effective in a multi-threaded process with a GPU. So when you get a Core Ultra device, what you're actually getting from Intel packaged in the same physical die is a NPU, a CPU, and a GPU all in that same die. So with that comes some great gen-on-gen improvements that you wouldn't have normally seen with just core on core. So the first one I'll call out is, just the CPU. We're seeing just about the same around single-threaded performance and around 10% in those multi-core performance, right? Right. So, pretty standard gains gen on gen when it comes to single and multi-threaded. But where this product really shines is in the integration of the GPU and NPU. So that GPU that we put in here is 38% better than previous generation. And several folks on the call might say, well, I don't really game or anything, so how is that going to add value? What you may not be aware of is that a lot of your collaboration apps, in fact, I think most all of them, use in some way, shape, or fashion the GPU for background blur or real-time translation, right? So if you're using Teams or Zoom, right? Those are scenarios where that collaboration app is tapping into that GPU to accelerate those graphics needs. Also, if you're doing any kind of 4K video, media consumption like CAD, that integrated GPU, gen-on-gen performance, is going to be a drastic improvement. And then, of course, the other thing I want to call out here, too, is the NPU. And now this, of course, gives you the ability to step into AI, right? Start dipping your toes on an AI PC. But what I'll also call out here is that a lot of the day-to-day background apps you're using will now start tapping into the NPU. So while we're seeing, pretty standard, modest, gen-on-gen gains with single-threaded and multi-threaded performance, what we're seeing with multitasking is pretty impressive. So on multitasking, we're seeing around a 15 to 25% improvement across the entire workload or across all workloads, because so many of those background tasks now that would have been taking up space on the CPU are now being pushed to the NPU that just sips battery compared to the CPU. So overall, you're getting better battery life, pretty solid gen-on-gen single and multi-threaded gains, great acceleration in graphics, and much better multitasking across all of your applications. So let me open it up for any questions on that.
Yeah, David, I think that's great. I mean, the same thing to point out, and I learned too, is that you've got the name of the CPU is the Ultra that's on our Galaxy Book5, and that Ultra chip, obviously offers these benefits and gives you that extra performance that you wouldn't have on a straight line, non-Ultra processor. So we are using the Ultra 5 and Ultra 7, which is again part of this Arrow Lake processing, and it steps us up from GB4 didn't have that NPU. So when you're starting to get into AI, this is a really solid device and a good price point to get into AI.
Absolutely. Well, I will pass it back to you, Rod. Take it away.
Yeah, thanks, David. Appreciate it. I learned a little bit more there on that too, and I've also understood that there's I guess you can. When you think about the TOPS 2, there's a combination of both the NPU and GPU that work together. So even though the NPU is only 12 TOPS, I think it goes up to 20 to 24 when you combine the power of the GPU and NPU together. So again, that's the wave of the future. More and more applications will be using GPU and NPU together. So it's great to hear.
And Rod, for those who may not know, what exactly is a TOP? What does that stand for? It's like trillion
David, you want
per second.
Sure. So TOPS. So team, when you hear the word TOPS, think of it as another benchmarking standard that we use in technology. So if you're familiar with like IOPS and storage, or throughput and networking, TOPS is how we're going to define benchmarking for AI. So to your point, it's exactly that. It's tera operations or trillions of operations per second. And so when you look at different AI PCs or GPUs, you're going to see third-party benchmarks referencing TOPS rates. So this will be, of course, very important as many of our software partners and folks like Microsoft are defining different software requirements based on TOPS rates, right? So Microsoft has certain softwares where they say, hey, unless you're at at least 40 TOPS or X TOPS, right, you probably couldn't use this software. But if you're at this TOPS level, you can use these. So you're going to probably start to see that as a regular benchmark across media.
And why is that important? Because I know that's pretty important for AI, right? AI is going to require all of that information at a very fast rate, and it's going to need the capability to process all that information. So 12 trillion operations per second, that's a lot.
That's not a small amount.
Yeah, just so you guys know, and again, going back to the portfolio, when we launched the Galaxy Book5 Pro devices and the Galaxy Book5 360, Lunar Lake, which launched on those devices, gets us up to 47 tops, so that's even a bigger increase. And of course, it comes at a more premium price point. But again, I think many enterprises that are starting to get into AI, this will be sufficient as they start to dip their toe into it, and give them that capability to really get into it. And of course, if they find that later they need more, we've got that laptop series to meet their needs as well. So good to hear. Let's move on a little bit more and talk about the device and the security. This is the, just to show you, this is our only laptop that has the physical lock slot. It does have a wide variety of ports, which I'll show you as well, but that lock slot I wanted to call out. This year we've added absolute persistence capability on our laptops, including this one. So again, this is sometimes a requirement or sometimes a service that they want to enable. And if you don't enable enable the opportunity to add it at the factory, then you can't upsell to absolute. So we've got all of our devices for the Galaxy Book5 series ready for that. That's great. I mentioned discrete TPM as well. Of course, Windows 11 Pro adds some additional security. This is a good view. It's very hard to get all of these ports, like everything you need. Your two USB-Cs, you got the RJ45, and even an HDMI on a 15.1 millimeter thin laptop. So again, our ultra premium lines don't have as many ports. We don't have the RJ45. We still have a good array of ports though, but this one adds that RJ45 and a security slot, and that gives a really easy way to sell into any use case out there for your typical knowledge worker.
So, Rod, quick question. We had a question come in, and we're just curious: are any of these Galaxy Books capable of connecting to cell towers for connectivity? I know we were looking at that Ethernet port that's on the Galaxy Book 5, but what about connecting to like a cellular network?
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have a 5G or 4G LTE enabled device. When I say that, we do have them in Europe. Europe has a little bit better market for that. We continue to look at it. We've had them in the past. We just haven't seen as much success. We'd like to be able to expand our portfolio and get more success and start looking at the 5G. Definitely looking for feedback in terms of form factor. We think maybe a 14-inch size is the right size. We're trying to figure out, is there anything we could do that's differentiated in the market? And that would be a really good win for us because of our relationship with Qualcomm on our tablets and phones. And so we think that that particular Qualcomm enabled 5G antennas and cards could help drive some of that, but at this point we still haven't seen success, unfortunately. Now I would say that and you're going to get into this, Thomas, in a little bit. I mean, you won't probably call this feature out in our Galaxy connected ecosystem, but one thing we've made it simple to do is, and I've used this, in fact I used this the last week, where my Samsung phone and my PC can easily, you set it up once and then it becomes part of your choices for your network. So it's easy to use my phone as a hotspot, or we try to make it easier from a Samsung on Samsung hotspot capabilities. So that's kind of nice to see that feature. But again, that just saves you one or two steps. It just makes it so that once you set it up, it's just a selection and you're good to go. So it makes it pretty easy. But again, that's the only way we can connect to 5G with our laptop portfolio at this point.
Thanks for that, Rod. We have another question as it kind of relates. Any contacted or contactless smart card capabilities? Does Samsung offer TAA gear?
Yeah, no, that's not something we're into at this point, mainly because we don't have a TAA set L10 assembly factory at this point for PCs. We do all of our PCs in Vietnam, but we'd have to set up another TAA facility. Again, I think federal government is typically where you would see some of that contactless or contacted smart card readers. But that also means we would need to have TAA set up as well. Not in all cases, but for the majority of the volume, that's what we're looking at. But we definitely have it on the roadmap. We're thinking about it. Wouldn't come in 26. It might come in 27, and hopefully by 28. So.
Awesome. We have some questions for Intel. I don't know if we want to go back to the Intel slide right quick. Let me just quickly go back a few. Intel Lunar Lake processors currently only support on-chip RAM. Only 16 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of RAM supported, not more or less. So if someone wants a 40 plus tops NPU and 64 gigs of RAM, would they have to go to AMD or the Qualcomm route? Wondering if Intel is going to be making something with more than 32 gigs of RAM in the near future.
No, it's a great question. I appreciate you all bringing it up. So that is a limitation with Lunar Lake, is that we made a decision in the architecture to better improve battery life, to solder that memory onto the chipset, leaving us with only the options to do either 16 or 32 in bulk. I can say that unfortunately Panther Lake is still under NDA, but if I take my Intel hat off for just a second and just speak as David Bartley, I'm confident that with Panther Lake, they're planning to move back to a non-soldered architecture with DIMM slots so that you can choose the memory footprint you want in your device. So unfortunately, for those scenarios where we want that 40 TOPS NPU onto with 64 gigs, Lunar Lake does not have that ability at the moment. However, we can always look at our workstation line with Xeon. But that is something we plan to change with Panther Lake, which should launch consumer at the end of the year. Commercially, we'll see it into 26.
Thank you. And we have another question. Does Samsung have an update service for the Galaxy books, such as like BIOS, drivers, etc.? That's something that we kind of talked about in the configuration slide earlier, right, Rob?
Yeah, I think Gerard, you could probably add some more in the team chat there, or the Q&A chat, whatever works. But yeah, I mean, we do have a download center where we do have BIOS and driver updates. So we do have that fully supported. We invested about $3 million last year to bring that up to speed to a more industry standard. So there is if you go to Samsung.com under for business and go under computing, you'll see a download center, and click that link, and you'll find information there. But if you want any more specifics on how that's done or whatever, I mean, certainly Gerard can help you with that as well.
Awesome. Let's move on. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is AI capabilities and our Galaxy connected ecosystem of devices. And so the very first thing that we wanted to talk about is AI Select. And so AI Select is really easy to use, and it works on all of our Galaxy Book5 series models, including the Galaxy Book5, the one that we're focusing on today. And so the way it works is you can simply trace your cursor around an image, text, or QR code using your cursor, and you'll get search results instantly. So in the example provided on screen, we see a gentleman carrying a handbag, and we're selecting the handbag with our cursor, and then you'll notice on the right side, you'll get some search results. So very easy to use, very intuitive. And this feature is great because, think of those research projects or sourcing materials, or if you're finding more information about a competitor product or for a work project, you can now take a photo, access it on your PC, be able to do a select AI search and get more information on the fly. Think of someone on a job site, they're trying to understand a certain tool. They don't know what the name of the tool is, so they can easily just circle the picture of the tool and then get more search results and more information without having to manually entry the brand of the tool, the type of tool, and spend all that extra time worrying about trying to describe it and get instant results. And that's Select AI. Our next one we want to talk about is probably my favorite one, and that's called Recall. And so using memory attention, it easily finds recently accessed files, documents, or emails based on keywords or provided context. So, for example, have you ever been in a situation where you'll have 10 Excel workbooks open and 5 PowerPoint presentations open? You're trying to dig and find that right file. Well, no more digging. All you have to do is type something that is related to that presentation. So if the presentation had a title and had a skyscraper on the title screen, you can literally type, find me the presentation with the skyscraper in the title screen. And then it will provide suggestions based off of your usage history and what you've recently accessed. So just improving productivity and workflow, minimizing those mundane tasks so that you can focus more on what's important. Additionally, based off of how you use your device, with suggestions and reminders, it'll help you to work more efficiently. So it'll actually learn your usage patterns, your preferences, and your habits. So, for example, it might actually ask you, it notices when you first get to work, you're checking your emails. Well, then it might actually recommend, would you like me to open up your emails so you can get right away working and getting things done?
Mr. Ennis, do you care if I chime in really quick on that?
Yeah, absolutely, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch base on the recall feature too here. As we were talking about Top's team, this is a great example where Microsoft has said, if you want to use recall and have that basic RAG feature on device, you have to use a CoPilot Plus PC, which is where our Lunar Lake devices with Galaxy Book come into play. So a slightly more premium device than the Arrow Lake product we're showcasing today. But if you want these, tools that make just simplifying basically the work we're not passionate about. I'm not passionate about finding documents. I'm sure you're not. You need to go up to a Lunar Lake Core Ultra device that has that 40 TOPS NPU. So just wanted to call that out.
Appreciate that. And so that would be, the Galaxy Book5 Pro, 360. So we definitely do have those types of laptops. So if you are looking for those kind of capability, you can definitely tap into that. What about cloud AI? So if you're trying to tap into the cloud, would we be able to do that?
Oh, absolutely. So any of the standard Copilot features, you'll absolutely get that with the Arrow Lake device. However, there are some specific collaboration features as well as specifically recall that will only come with a Copilot Plus device. So you should see that branding on Samsung's site. It should help you differentiate, all right, is this one set up for Microsoft Copilot Plus or just Copilot?
Perfect. Thank you for the clarification.
Absolutely.
So as we're talking about our extended Galaxy connected ecosystem, we believe that it's better with AI. It's better together than by itself. And so with our Galaxy phones, like the Galaxy S25, for example, you can actually use Microsoft Copilot to speak to your Galaxy device and grab information that's stored on your phone, and you can easily access that information. So in this example shown on screen, we have Lisa, or we actually have someone who's trying to get Lisa's phone number. And so using Copilot, you're talking to Copilot, they're now going to be able to access your saved contacts, perhaps finding a photo that you want to send to Lisa, and then send that directly off of your computer. So the devices are talking to each other, utilizing the Galaxy AI and the Copilot, and being able to do a lot of the things that we had mentioned earlier, a lot of those mundane tasks, having to go switch between devices, right? Having to manually dig for that photo, for that contact information, and then you can easily command it to send it as well. So just another example of how we're merging the power of Microsoft Copilot's capabilities and our Galaxy devices. And just as a reminder, we are continuing to support a host of other ecosystem features, such as multi-control. That's one of my favorites, where you can basically, if you have one workstation, you can control your phone, your Samsung tablet, and your PC with one keyboard and mouse. Additionally, we have quick share and private share, where you can easily share files, those larger files, quickly across all Galaxy devices, from PC to phone to our tablets. And then you can also use private share, a very secure way, utilizing blockchain technology to keep your data secure, but also be able to share those with those that need it. So think of those like important work projects that you want to keep secure, but ease of use, right? We'll talk a little bit more about quick share and private share later in this presentation. And then also there's second screen. This one's probably my favorite of the four here. You want to maximize that screen real estate. Well, you can with a Galaxy tablets, and then connect that to your PC, and now you've got this portable solution. We talked a lot about the mobility aspect of our laptops and being lightweight. Well, you also want to be able to carry a second screen. Is there a lightweight option? Well, your Galaxy tablet. So that's another, when you're talking to your customers, how do you want to increase productivity? That's another thing to consider. And then also we have our PC auto switch, which is going to work with our Buds 3 Pro. So imagine you're on a webinar, like training webinar like this, but you get an important customer phone call and you want to be able to answer that. Well, the moment as long as you already have it all set up, it's pretty seamless. The moment you answer your phone call, the audio will recognize that you just answered a phone, and it'll switch the audio automatically to your Buds to answer that phone call, and now you can start engaging with the customer. And we call that the PC auto switch. Moving on, phone as a webcam. This one's a very unique one as well. So, our Galaxy phones are well known to have great, powerful cameras. Our Galaxy S25, for example, has a 200 megapixel camera. And so what if we could combine that capability with our laptops? And so this is what we introduced, phone as webcam. So the cool thing about this is you can manage your webinar platform on your PC while you use the camera of the phone. So you can switch the camera around. You can take the phone with you as you're engaging with your audience to do a virtual tour, for example, and you can walk with the camera while you're still managing from your PC. And I know, Rod, this is probably one of your favorite features. I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to add to that or share your experience.
Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't realize we had implemented it, and then I was on a separate Google Meet call, and it popped up and said, "Hey, do you want to use your phone as the webcam?" And so I was able to try it out, and yeah, it's so much easier and more flexible, especially if you're needing to get up or showcase something. Let's say you're in a landscaping business and you're doing on a video call, whatever whatever it could be. Maybe you're in the office and you want to walk over and showcase something else. The ability to have that phone and be able to reverse it and use the camera, the outward-facing camera, and then flip it back, and it's phenomenal. So it's another feature. We continue to work with Microsoft, and we to make sure that our Windows PCs and our phones and tablets and all the other earbuds and Galaxy watches are all, add really nice features to make it more innovative and help drive productivity.
Awesome. And then we also have the quick share. I had mentioned we were going to talk a little bit more about that. And so a little bit just more on the private sharing aspect. So it's secure file sharing backed with blockchain technology. You can conveniently set an option for data privacy through quick share. So it's very much like quick share, but then you just enable the private sharing capability. And pretty powerful because it's not only secure, but you can also set an expiration date, and you can revoke sharing at any notice. So if you want to turn off that download link, then you have that option. And then that's pretty much it. And so you can use this across.
You can also
phones, tablets.
Thomas, you can also prevent screen grab too, which is really fascinating. So really hyper secure areas that, I don't know, I think of a healthcare, right? That could be an innovative solution by, sharing a file for someone to see briefly, or a patient or some other doctor. The only, you want to revoke it, not give them the capability to either download it or screen grab it.
Right.
It's pretty amazing.
That's a good point too.
Yeah, that's a great call out for telehealth.
For sure, biomedical records or electronic health records, all sorts of different biometrics. So now we come to this slide here. So did you know? And we had this question to come in earlier, and so I haven't forgotten to get to it. I was just saving it for this one. So we had a question that came in, like, is there a deal registration or a SPA process? What are the qualifying parameters? What do you think, Rob? Well,
all right, do you all hear me? I can jump in. This is Lindsay. We do have a SPA process and a deal registration process. I'd be happy to send out more information after the call, more of the parameters. I don't have everything right in front of me at the moment, but we do have a team that'll go through and actually set up and send you a form. And you can also work with Matt Lubers, who's on the call, and he can get you over the information needed to submit a SPA. And then our team will work on putting that together and sending it to D&H to quote you. So we'll be happy to put some information together after this call and send it out to everyone that attended on our deal registration and spot process.
Awesome. So we'll learn
Thanks,
more
Lindsay.
about that in Q3, right, Lindsay?
Yes, that is
Right
correct.
around the corner. So
very soon.
So keep keep an eye out on any updates. And with that, Lindsay, I think this will be a good opportunity for you to talk a little bit about yourself and your team.
Thank you so much there. So everyone in the call, I'm Lindsay Kellogg. I am the Samsung Senior Distribution Account Manager that handles our D&H account for our mobility products. So I get to work very closely with Rod and Thomas here in the team, and they do a great job for us in helping us with all of our products and questions, and Gerard too as well on the technical side. And then from the D&H side team here, you all heard Matt Lubers earlier kick off the call. He is my D&H Senior Sales Specialist for Samsung Mobility. And he is the one that kind of works with you all directly out in the field, and then also with his sales teams to help with any kind of quotes, questions, product information. And then he works with me directly on the day-to-day business. And then from there, we have our D&H vendor business manager, Chad Bowser, who is not on the call today, but he kind of does more of the inner workings with all of like kind of pricing, trying to help with opportunities, deals, and helps run our entire line there at D&H. And then lastly, we also have our buyer, who is Laura Raymer, and she is amazing. She's the one that keeps all of our product in stock for us. And we do weekly calls with D&H to make sure that we have the right product mix in for all of you on the call when needed. So that's the immediate team that you get to work with at D&H. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us after this call. And then I also included the team email there. We're samsungmobile@dnh.com. And they'd be happy to help you with anything. Thank you all.
Thank you. All right. So let's see. Do we have any other questions? So, okay, how does our customer responsibility manage and sandbox? Okay, how does our customers responsibly manage and sandbox data on device with use of cloud, AI, and CoPilot?
Larry,
I'm not able to answer that. So who is? Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, I was going to have to apologize as well. You know, Larry, if you want to send me an email at david.bartley@intel, I'm happy to see if we can get some guidance from Microsoft on best practices for features like recall, right? 'Cause to your point, I would imagine they probably have some special guidance on what you put into OneDrive versus actually on the storage of the device, and make a sense of the best use of that. So unfortunately, don't have an answer, but happy to look that up for you.
Appreciate that. We got a lot of great questions today, team. We really appreciate the engagement. I hope you all learned a lot. We're going to give it just a couple of minutes to see if you have any other questions, because I know that there's a slight delay between the broadcast. So I just wanted that now would be a great opportunity to ask us any other questions we might have. Awesome.
There was one about demo gear. Yes, we do have demos. So that's definitely available. Certain size and threshold, it can be variable. Obviously, we tend to be a little bit more picky on the size. But again, if it's a customer that wants to buy a small quantity now, but they want to expand it, that's obviously something we'll consider for sure. So we want to be as open and flexible as possible there. I'm just looking through any other things that we didn't cover. Looks like
we got it all.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'll pass it off to the D&H team for any closing statements. Just want to say thank you so much for your engagement today, and thank you to our partners at Intel for joining us. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Lindsay and her team, and we'll be able to support her.
Thanks, Thomas. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's going to wrap up our time, everybody. Thanks again for joining us today. Just a reminder quick, you will receive a link of this webcast. So if you need to circle back on anything we've covered today, you can do that. You can also email me with any questions you have, and I'm directly in contact with all of our experts today as well. So I'm happy to extend those questions to them. My email is mlubers@dnh.com, or to make it a little simple, samsungmobile@dnh.com. And before we leave you here, we do have some money giveaways. So we're going to select 2 random attendees from today to receive $150 in D&H credit. And the first 5 resellers to place POs of $5,000 minimum will get $250 in D&H credit. So really exciting stuff, guys. If you have any questions or on any of that, just reach out to me directly. And again, looking forward to doing business with all of you. Thanks for attending.
Thanks, everyone. Happy selling.
Thanks, team.